everybody, welcome to the Camera Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to talk about the latest attempt at capturing the imagination of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, this being a prequel to that movie, Wonka. Now, there has been two attempts, I believe, just two. There was obviously the Gene Wilder one in like 1970 something? I can't remember how long ago that movie was. It was forever ago, but it captured the imagination of a bunch of people. That movie was very inspirational. Gene Wilder was so charismatic and charming in his role, both kind of weird. It's a weird movie, but it's a movie that captured the imagination of children, because who as a child wouldn't want to be in an area where they could eat endless candy and the imagination of what candy could taste like and all these different things, the Oompa Loompas, all of it, the musicals, the music aspect of that movie, all of it was just wonderful. And then we would later get a nightmare-fueled version of it with Johnny Depp's version of Willy Wonka. And Tim Burton slash Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka, which was very weird. At the time, there's movies that came out when I was a child that I thought were good, but then when you go back and watch them, and you just watch them as someone who watches movies, you realize, whoa, this is creepy as fuck. One of them being, you know, it's Christmas time, The Polar Express, and another one being this Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Johnny Depp, Tim Burton version. It is creepy. John Depp's version of the character, the choice to make him very pale, and Tim Burton always directs his movies with a bit of a weird creepiness to it anyways. Like Tim Burton's movies, for the most part, even his most straightforward movies, even Batman movies, they have this weird, like, spider crawling up the side of your arm kind of vibe to them. And sometimes it can be useful when he's directing something that's supposed to be doing that. You know, like a Nightmare on Christmas, and certain movies make sense to have that vibe. But that one, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, is such a bombastic and such a energetic, you know, character slash idea that Tim Burton really did end up just making it creepy as fuck. There's all kinds of jokes made about his his version of Willy Wonka being child pedophile kind of territory, the way he acts and the decisions that were made. But we don't gotta get on that that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, because we're here to talk about Wonka. And this movie is a prequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it's very much a prequel to that original movie, not the Tim Burton movie. And just in the stylings they're going for, and even the way he's dressed and whatnot, it's way more in line with the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And what our you know, shit, our Willy Wonka is being played by the young upstart, like, you know, actor Timothée Chalamet. And Timothée Chalamet has kind of become a big star. He's in Dune right now. He's been in a few other things of note, but really he's becoming this, like, rising star. Really, he's becoming a big time rising star in Hollywood. He's him, Florence Pugh, Tom Holland, you know, just to name a few others. They are the rising new blood of Hollywood. You know what I mean? These are actors who will, Timothée Chalamet in particular, is one of those actors who will be a heavy hitter for years to come. And you can tell, but generally speaking, he does more serious roles, usually. You know, he does so many serious roles like Dune, and he was in this one movie called The King, and other films of that nature, that I honestly was very shocked that he got picked to play Willy Wonka. And I was very shocked to say that I enjoyed him as Willy Wonka. I never knew that man could smile that much, could be that whimsical, could be that energetic. I didn't know. I mean, he is jumping off the walls, which is what you have to be. If you've ever seen the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the big thing that made Gene Wilder's character so, what's the word I'm looking for? Magnetic, is his energy. He had such boundless positive energy. And it's one of those things, like, we all meet people like that. You meet some people, and they just have such a positive vibe that you feel bad trying to bring them down. You know what I mean? Like, there are people I've met who are so positive, genuinely speaking, that I don't even want to talk to them because I'm like, I'm not in the mood and I'm not to bring them down. You know what I mean? Or they might lift you up. And that was Gene Wilder's, you know, version of the character. Sure, he was a bit bitter and whatnot, but he still had a bunch of positive energy. This version of the character is even more energetic and even more positive because he hasn't been jaded. He is so optimistic. He is so positive. He is such a happy-go-lucky guy. You really wish the best for him, which isn't surprising. The one thing that made me excited for this movie, and it turned out for good reason, was the fact that the Paddington crew, the people behind the Paddington 1 and 2, were working on this film. And if you've ever seen my videos, you know I think Paddington 1 and 2 are, without a shadow of a doubt, probably the closest thing to pure, what's the word I'm looking for? Pure innocence I've ever seen in filmmaking. Like, to the point where I've stated this, and I stand by this shit. If you don't like Paddington 1 or 2, if you don't like them, you're probably not a good person. You're probably an asshole. Like, that's the boundaries of if you're an asshole. If you watch Paddington 1 or 2 and you're like, man, it's some bullshit, I'm like, oh, you're an asshole. Good, we got that out of the way early. We got that out of the way. We got it out of the way. I know what you are now. Because they're just so pure, innocent movies. They're just so pure, innocent. The character is so pure, innocent. The way it's written is so pure, innocent. The way they set up everything in those two movies is just so, like, those movies are so fucking innocent and so, like, so just joyful that it is literally, like, people can't complain about them. I've never seen a bad review for a Paddington movie. So, obviously, you got that kind of a vibe going into this movie. I'm like, okay, if they're going to approach it like that, then this should be a joyful movie. And without a shadow of a doubt, for the most part, other than some darker aspects, there are a few darker aspects, it is a joyful movie. It is a fun movie. For the most, it's a musical as well. Like, it's not as much of a musical as some movies. It's not like In the Heights or something like that. You know, it's not like In the Heights or some other movies that's like music. But there are music, but it is a musical because I'd probably say the movie's about an hour and 50 minutes. I would go as far as to say about 30 minutes is dedicated to music. Music. About 30 to maybe 40 minutes are dedicated to music. The rest is played straightforward, just kind of set up, but a lot of it is dedicated to music. And some of the songs are very memorable, some of the songs aren't. The thing that makes all the music work, in the end of the day, for the most part, is Timothée Chalamet's Willy Wonka. Because like I said, he brings so much enthusiasm and so much energy and so much, you know, innocence and boyfulness, like he's jumping off the screen, you know what I mean? That you find yourself just like willing to go along with it because you're just like, well, shit, he's having a good time. I might as well have a fucking good time. Like, that's just the vibe you get off the character. Now, the story is young Willy Wonka is going on this, he's gone on this journey throughout the lands, found all these crazy ingredients, which by the way, they put it over the top that he's basically fucking his candy's basically magic. Like, I know it was kind of vaguely hinted to that his candy is magic in the past, but it is like heavily hinted like that his candy is fucking magic. His candy could do things that shouldn't be done. It can make you float. It can make you remember shit you forgot. It can grow your hair. It can do all kinds of crazy shit. Like, good lord, man, this candy is nuts. But I digress. I mean, he has a piece of candy that can make you instantly completely wasted. Can make you go through the process of getting drunk. From tipsy all the way to blackout. Like, he has a candy that can do that. And it's crazy because apparently he went all over the world, like spent a shit ton of money, basically all of his money on traveling the world, finding all these different ingredients, all this different stuff, and then he comes back to, I don't know where, I guess London or somewhere like that. I don't know if it's an imaginary place, but either way, he comes back to this specific area, and I'm going to just say London, where he's trying to sell his candies and make his fortune. But unfortunately for Willy, there's other people who sell candy. They see him as a threat, and now he has to overcome them and try to make his dream a reality. And that's pretty much like the short, condensed version of the story. And throughout the story, he meets people. He screws with people. He meets people. He has a journey with other people. Fun musicals, musical sections, awesome things with the candy. Which, like I say, that candy could do all kinds of shit, man. I swear, he has a piece of candy for everything. And he turns everything into a piece of candy. Like, I'm pretty sure that's his fucking job. I'm pretty sure that's like his whole thing is trying to figure out how to turn something into a piece of candy. I mean, when at a certain point he gets a shop, and people have to shop with like baskets, and the baskets are candy. They're like, oh yeah, don't forget to eat the basket. Like, the basket's candy too? Damn. But yeah, the candy aspect's kind of funny how hard he goes with that. But also, like I say, it's some magical shit going on, because he pulls a lot of shit out of his hat. He's got a suitcase that kind of unfolds. Like I said, it's very subtle, and no one really makes a deal about it, which is surprising. There's clearly some magical shit going on here. There's a whole gag with the police chief and him slowly getting fatter over the course of the movie. That's kind of funny as well. But overall, the movie is a joy. It's a fun movie. It's definitely one of those movies you want to take the kids to go see, the family to go see. It's a good holiday movie. It gets you in a good mood, and it makes you want to go have some chocolate. Like, I'm telling you, bruh. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like, I wanted some candy as soon as I left the fucking theater, man. I was like, shit. That shit making me want to go get a candy bar. But either way, and you see the steps, and you see the process of him becoming the Willy Wonka he will eventually become. You see it, you know, going in that direction. You see the beginnings of his factory. And also, no, he did not kidnap the Oompa Loompas and make them indentured servants. I know that's always been the joke with Willy Wonka and the Oompa Loompas is like, oh man, he went and kidnapped them little fuckers and made them servants. No. As it turns out, they come from an island, and their whole thing is chocolate, but the island barely grows any chocolate. So, they willingly, well, they kind of hint that this happens, they willingly come work for him because they just want to be around chocolate, and since he owns basically the biggest batch of chocolate in the world, they all just come and work in his factory because they just want to work with chocolate. But, you know, they ain't no chocolate where they're from, so they're like, shit, we just want chocolate. So, no, he didn't fucking do that. He didn't kidnap them. They actually came over to work with them, and technically, they're kind of partners on this, technically. So, that's what happened there. So, yeah. And yes, we only see one Oompa, but it's played by Hugh Grant, so Hugh Grant's hilarious. So, you know, Hugh Grant, man, I tell you, that guy, I love that guy, man. So British. So British. Like, he's what I think of when I think of a British actor. Hugh Grant. The accent, the dignity, oh, sorry. Like, Hugh Grant, man. Seeing him as a tiny little orange man with green hair was pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining, to say the least. But anyways, I would give Wonka a solid 8.5. I can't go beyond that because it's not perfect. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. There are some things that don't make sense in the movie. It is weird that no one acknowledges how insane his candy is. And while I found the whole candy cartel thing funny, and I found some aspects of it funny, some aspects of the movie get into, like, insanely ridiculous. Like, there's a difference between, like, oh, that's a little ridiculous. It's like, no, this is just ridiculous, you know what I mean? So, that was a bit distracting, but overall, I had a fun time with this movie. It is definitely in the same ballpark as Paddington. If you liked Paddington, you definitely like this movie. It's probably the best performance. It's the most memorable Timothée Chalamet performance. Because like I say, the dude's usually always serious and shit. So it's interesting to see him fucking smile and lighten the fuck up and sing. I'm like, gosh, cool, you got another gear. You're not just fucking moping around. Okay, I'm saying that because of Dune. Because he has no personality in Dune. But you guys already know how I feel about fucking Dune. But this is better. I know he's got it in him now. So whenever I see him casting something, I'm going to be thinking about this and be like, well, I know he's got a more charming gear in him that he can go to if he needs to. So it's nice to know that he's flexible like that. But anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next one. What did you think of Wonka? Man, I really want to go get a candy bar. Anyways, thank you guys again. See you in the next one. Goodbye.